Hi everyone, it's Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing these, the TaylorMade Stealth Irons. Now recently I had the opportunity to review the TaylorMade Stealth Driver. I'll put a link to it up there in the corner for you, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I thought it was one of the best drivers I've tested recently, and I was therefore really keen to get my hands on the irons and see how they perform too. Now these irons fall into the super game improvement category, so I'm really interested to see how they feel, how they look, and most importantly how they perform when compared against my current iron, the Titleist T200. So let's get down to the fitting bay and let's check it out. Okay, so I've just arrived down at the fitting bay, and my first impressions from looking at the golf club are really good looking golf club in terms of its design, but it is chunky. Wow, it is chunky. I've just hit the P790 by TaylorMade and filmed a video of me reviewing that, which I'll put a card up there for you to see. That I thought had a real chunky top line, but otherwise was gorgeous. This is just chunky all over. The top line I think is even thicker. The sole feels like a really high sole kind of wedge. You know, you sometimes see those kind of gimmicky get out of a bunker super soles. It feels as chunky as that. It's really chunky at the back. I guess if you're looking for something, you know, as a new golfer or game improvement iron, it probably will inspire a lot of confidence, but even just sat here at address, I can almost see the back of the club sort of just sticking out, and it's almost like a hybrid-y kind of feel in terms of how chunky it is. Maybe not as much as like a Cleveland launcher, which truly is like a hybrid, but definitely feels that way, but still looks really, really gorgeous. So yeah, let's see what it does when we hit some shots with it and see how it performs. Now I must admit, I have already hit all my shots with this. Unfortunately, the camera didn't record, so I've already got a really good data set, which I'm going to be able to show you when we get home. But what I'm going to do is just hit a few, so we've got a few on camera, and you can see my reaction as I hit it. Oh yes. Again, I've hit the pull draw, but the launch is great. Distance on that one, 158.5, 175 total. 4179 on the spin, so that is a little low, but let's see what happens when we start to strike them a little bit. Yeah, that's like a little draw. I started it on target and then drew it off of it, probably a little bit too much, but 157 yards, 4004 on the spin, 172 toe. Great numbers. I might not think it's the most sexiest looking golf club in the world, but if it delivers numbers like that, I can soon fall in love with it and get over it, I think. And I like a hybrid normally, so who cares? Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. That has again started on target, just a little draw, maybe 5-6 yard draw. 157 yard carry, 171.7. Spinning at 4,500, so spin is creeping up as I'm starting to hit better shots with it. Oh my, that is launched for me with a 7-iron. Again, just started it down the right with a little bit of draw. My shot of the day, you'll see that when we look at the patterns. 160.6 through the air, nearly 4.6 nearly on the spin too. Guys, this is getting some good numbers. Like, it's shocking me a little bit at the moment how good some of these numbers are. Again, I'm only looking at some of them. Carry, spin, total, ball speed. And it'll be interesting when we get home to compare feel versus real, because they feel like they're launching really high. They feel like they're coming down a little bit softer than what I'm used to seeing with my 7-iron, and that's with less loft. One of the things with these clubs is they're only 28.5 degrees, I think, of loft with a 7-iron. If I've got that wrong, I'll put the exact number on the screen for you. But yeah, they might be chunky, but they are performing good. Let's hit a couple more and then we'll wrap up. Just a little bit out of control, that shot. Not my best. Interesting, I've just said it's not my best, but it's carried 160 yards and it's gone 177 yards, and it's absolutely a horrible strike. That is so interesting. Oh, that is a great shot to finish on. Golf shot, if I do say so myself. Again, I think I'm just struggling with the line, but that's dead straight. 156 yards, 170 total, spinning 4,400. I'm shocked. Super game improvement irons, chunky irons, not something that I would normally pick up at the moment. Feeling like I've kind of done that phase of my golf club journey. But I'm hitting good golf shots, and again, I need to go home and look at the data and compare it to my T200. Like I say, look at all the numbers, which is what we're going to do next. But first impressions, great golf club, TaylorMade. Like, if this is your kind of super game improvement iron, maybe I need to play some super game improvement irons, because these are good. Right, let's get home, let's get those two data sets side by side with each other, and we can have a look and see if my view changes when I can compare the data by looking at it in detail. So I've just got home and had a chance to look at the numbers, and you can see my Titleist T200 numbers at the top. That's a batch of shots I hit just before the ones that I filmed for the TaylorMade Stealth, and then the TaylorMade Stealth iron numbers are below. Again, key call-outs for me here are, you can see that I was hitting a very similar club speed with both clubs, but that equated to a 3 mile an hour increase in ball speed with the Stealth, and that equated to a 6.5 yard carry on average improvement with the TaylorMade Stealth. So absolutely fantastic numbers. You'll see that the spin numbers are really similar, but there is a slight increase in launch, there is an increase in peak height, and there is a little bit more stopping power from that angle on the green. So really impressive numbers all round from the TaylorMade Stealth. A couple of other interesting observations for me is I was able to deliver this with a slightly better path. Again, don't know if that was just my swing on the day, but just strange that I could hit one batch of shots so differently to the next batch of shots, one after the other. Both 7 irons, you know, me hitting one back to back, so really interesting. In terms of the dispersion circles, you can see that the blue dispersion circle for the TaylorMade Stealth is bigger, it's suggesting it's less consistent. However, I did hit a bigger batch of shots with that club than I did with my own Titleist T200. I think if I hit equal number of shots with both, you would see similar dispersion circles. The big key takeaway for me here, though, is that number of blue circles that are further down the driving range, just showing the raw power that these clubs were able to give me. Now, the final thing I do want to show you is the strike location with the two clubs. I'm someone that's always struggled with hitting the club slightly out of the heel side, and it's something I'm constantly battling with. Now, like I said earlier, I hit these two batch of shots one after the other, and you can see that the strike location with the TaylorMade Stealth is central and actually, if anything, a little bit toey, and that's something I'm not used to seeing when I measure myself on Trackman with my own clubs. So I don't know if there's something about these clubs, the way they're weighted or the way they just sit, but they naturally appealed to my eye and allowed me to find the centre of the club or the toe of the club a little bit easier. Overall, really impressed, fantastic numbers, and glad that those feelings I had on the range are backed up in what I can see. Okay, so we're just coming towards the end of the video now, and just to conclude, I think I'm really impressed by how those feels that I was having in the bay, and you could obviously see how excited I was as I was hitting some of the shots and the numbers that I was getting. Really pleased to see that those feels were becoming real when we had a chance to look at the data set and compare it side by side against my current gamers there. Now, overall, my impression of this is TaylorMade, you have done a brilliant job. I was not expecting that performance from a game improvement iron, and it's actually shocked me and made me realise that maybe there is still some benefit for someone like me in these irons. I thought I was past that phase in my golf game, as I said in the video, but maybe there is something in there for me here. Now, just before I wrap up the video, all that leaves me to say is thank you so much for watching. If you do like the video, then please do consider giving it a thumbs up. Please leave some comments below if you would test these irons or if you've gamed them yourself, and do consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.